Hey, this is Mike from the Run Testers. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about a running earbud design that's definitely kind of emerged in the last few years. Now, on this channel, we've spoken a lot about open ear headphones, open ear earbuds. And if you're looking for a safer way to listen to your audio while you run, there are so many options to do that now. Now, one of the form factors that has emerged from that category has been this clip-on style earbud. We first saw it on the Bose Ultra Open, and since then there's been plenty of other cheaper alternatives to the Bose Ultra Open. Now, Shokz has been a notable absentee in this particular space. That has changed this year with the launch of the Shokz OpenDots One, which launched in the US earlier this year. It's now launching in the UK as well. Now, when I was sent these by Shokz, they did make it very clear that they're not pitching these as running headphones or kind of designed for running. They feel they have better options or open ear earbud options in its range to cater for that. Has that stopped me trying to discover whether they are a good fit for running? Absolutely not. And I think it's a fair deal considering that the design is very close to the Bose Ultra Open, which Bose is kind of pitching to being suitable for runners. So what I'm going to do is share you my experiences, what it's like to use the Shokz OpenDots One. I've also kind of put the Bose Ultra Open back on as well during my testing time as well. See how they compare in terms of design and fit, in terms of that kind of performance in battery life, but also crucially what they're like to sound when you are kind of in busy environments and when you are kind of running a little bit harder and faster as well. So yeah, I'm going to take you through my experiences and let you know how the Shokz OpenDots One compares to the Bose Ultra Open. Okay, let's kick off with design, and I have to say I'm pretty surprised how much the Shokz OpenDots One looks like the Bose Ultra Open. They're very small, they're very lightweight, they're very comfortable to wear, and I think, you know, I've tested a lot of other clip-on earbuds and they've definitely been bigger and more noticeable to wear. And I think if you're looking for things or earbuds that really kind of disappear and you really can kind of forget about, and absolutely these are two that kind of fit the bill. In terms of durability, very similar in terms of that protection, in terms of kind of sweat, rain, you know, protection, kind of overall moisture. That doesn't apply to the cases. That's pretty much across the board with most earbuds. But in terms of having that added protection, you do get that on both of these earbuds. So I think, you know, from a design point of view, there's not a huge amount to separate. They're almost identical in terms of look and feel and what they're like to wear. They're lightweight, they're comfortable, and very easy to slip on and just kind of forget about. So I do need to talk about controls here, which I would say in general is probably one of the weakest aspects of clip-on earbuds in terms of being suitable for running, and I would say definitely racing as well. You've got this very small form factor, and it's really about keeping things small and light with the clip-on earbuds, but you know, it's about squeezing those controls on, which maybe aren't the most intuitively placed, and that's definitely been my experience of using them on the Ultra Open and the OpenDots One. And it's probably why Shokz hasn't really pitched these as runners compared to other kind of open ear earbuds in its range. So in the OpenDots One, you've got those controls built into the kind of barrel element of the design, but also in the stem that's kind of connecting the speaker and those kind of controls as well. Now, what I found is when I've been out running with it, whether it's been running a little bit harder, even kind of easing off, just going up, reaching, trying to use the controls is very fiddly to do. I haven't knocked them out of place, but they definitely do slide about, and I would be worried, I'd been concerned about whether I'd want to race with earbuds which are easily knocked out of place with kind of trying to kind of get to those controls. It's a similar story with the Bose Ultra Open. They're similarly placed on the Ultra Open as well. I've raced with the Ultra Open and I've had an issue where I've tried to kind of use those controls and they've actually just fallen out of my ears. And I've done other runs since then, faster runs, kind of easier runs, where again, I've tried to reach those controls and I've either entirely knocked them out of place or they have moved around. So I think from a control point of view, there's not a lot separating the two. And I would say from a negative point of view, there's definitely better open ear earbuds and clip-on earbuds out there will give you better control system, particularly when you're running, and I think be more suitable if you're racing as well. So in terms of battery life, on paper, the Shokz OpenDots One should give you more battery in between charges. Now, the level of battery that you enjoy depends on listening volume, but also I would say the audio modes that you are putting to good use. Now, in terms of my testing, I would say absolutely the OpenDots One does live up to those kind of higher battery life claims compared to the Ultra Open, which I think particularly if you are using that kind of additional Dolby audio mode does see the battery drop a little bit quicker. So if you are looking for the best battery life performance, absolutely the OpenDots One is going to give you more on that front. In terms of charging performance, not a huge amount to pick between the two. You've got very pocketable kind of charging cases, but if you are looking for the best in terms of that battery life performance, then absolutely I'd be going for the Shokz OpenDots One. Okay, so let's talk about sound, because at the end of the day, if they don't sound good, you're not going to want to use them for your runs. Now, I have tested pretty much all of the other clip-on earbuds that are out there, and I would say these are two of the best sounding open-ear clip-on earbuds that I have used. And I think in terms of which one is the best, I would say maybe the Bose Ultra Open slightly edge it. I think the volume, the kind of top volume, is a little bit better than the OpenDots One. I think in terms of overall finesse and polish, is just a little bit more on that front with the Ultra Open, but that's not to say that the OpenDots One don't sound great as well. I think there's great balance there, versatility, you've got those EQ modes there as well. And absolutely, I've enjoyed using the OpenDots One in general, and I think, you know, just below, I would say, the Ultra Open in terms of that overall sound performance. As I said, you've got those additional EQ modes on both of these earbuds. I think you've got those additional kind of immersive audio modes, which I think, you know, opens or kind of increases that volume a little bit more. But I think you lose a little bit balance when you're using those modes to listen to music particularly. But I think if you are using them for kind of watching videos, and absolutely, or if you're running on a treadmill, absolutely, they're going to offer a better experience overall in that mode. But I think in terms of kind of sticking to those kind of standard modes that you're getting, or listening modes, absolutely, these are two of the best that I've tested. In terms of call quality, I don't think these are best in class in terms of call quality for open ear headphones and open ear earbuds and earbuds in general. I think in Shokz's range, there's definitely better options. I think the Ultra Open maybe gives you a little bit more clarity on that front, but I don't think there's a huge amount in it. So if you're looking at them or looking to them for kind of handling calls, I think they're not the best that you're going to get in terms of open ear earbuds and earbuds in general. So yeah, I think absolutely you're going to get good quality kind of open ear sound from both of these earbuds. Maybe slightly better in some areas than the Ultra Open, but the OpenDots One can definitely hold its own against the Ultra Open, and I've definitely enjoyed using them for kind of listening to my music, audiobooks, podcasts, and everything else in between. So my take on whether I think the Shokz OpenDots One or the Bose Ultra Open are better fit for runners. Now, what I would say based on my experience, and I think with this clip-on earbud form factor, there's still a little bit of work to be done to make them perfect for runners. And I think if I was to pick an open ear kind of headphone or earbud, I think there are better options out there from a running, and I think particularly a racing perspective. I think there's a lot of things they get right. I think in terms of the lightweight form factor, I think in terms of sound quality, particularly on these two earbuds, I think the battery life is good enough in general, while you are getting a little bit more on the OpenDots One. Now, if I did have to pick one to use for my kind of general runs, I think I probably would look at the OpenDots One. It is cheaper for starters. I think the sound quality is absolutely up there with the Ultra Open. I think the design is very similar, and maybe the controls aren't as good, or maybe they're slightly better on the Ultra Open. You know, I wouldn't be kind of too much focusing on utilizing those controls on either if I had to pick between the two. And you are getting more battery life on the OpenDots One as well. But as I said, I think if I was turning to or looking or in the market for a pair of open ear headphones or earbuds, there are definitely better options than both of these, particularly from a design and fit point of view, and particularly if you're looking for something with more reliable controls, and definitely if you're looking for a little bit more in terms of that battery life, particularly on the Bose Ultra Open. Okay, so there you have it. That is our take on how the Shokz OpenDots One compares to the Bose Ultra Open when put to the running test, and not actually as clear-cut as anticipated. Now, if you've got any questions about the OpenDots One or the Ultra Open or other running headphones you want to see us tested and compared, do let us know in the comments. As always, like and subscribe, hit that little bell to find out about latest videos, and yeah, we'll see you for the next run testers video.